Hey, you guys. I'm here at Wendy's, and I'm trying their new Baconator 5. 5 patties, 5 cheeses, 15 pieces of bacon. You know? If you haven't been to a military graduation, as I was telling you, very, awesome event. I mean, there's just...
You're ready to join.
I was ready to join, dude. I almost put in my application. I went to the recruiter. I said, lie to me, baby. Tell me what I want to hear. I want to get a Camaro. Or a Dodge, one of the two.
Tell me what I got to do for a Hellcat.
Yeah, tell me what I got to do for a Hellcat. What can... You mean I could take out a really expensive loan with my signing bonus?
Right.
And buy a Camaro with a 25% interest rate? Man, that sounds like a dream. Hey, welcome to Below the Trees podcast. We got a good episode for you. We get into traveling and the ins and outs of the TSA, and we find out why John gets patted down every single time he goes to the airport. John, are you excited? He's not. And we also talk about the Colorado Rockies and our intent to dissect their problems and what will it cost? How much does it cost to make this a competitive team in the next year? If you really want to know the answer to these big questions, stay tuned. This is Below the Trees podcast. Grab some popcorn, grab some food, and we'll see you at the end. Below the Trees. That's the police department. I think it's the sheriff's. All right. And action. John, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you.
Chilling.
Big chillin'. Big chillin'.
Are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm just thinking, we've already talked so much off camera. Some stuff probably, not podcast appropriate. Some
definitely
stuff,
not.
Yeah, some stuff definitely would have been interesting for the podcast. But
would have been good for the premium paying subscribers. Oh yeah,
the premium subscribers. For just 1 cent a month, you can have all this great extra content.
We'll create a link.
Yeah. Well, so is this episode 19 or 20? Oh, this is 20 now.
Yeah, 19 is still being...
This is episode 20 of Below the Trees podcast. Welcome. You made it with us this far. Actually, we made it this far, too, because we found out recently that podcasts generally don't make it to 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So we are in the one of the highest percentiles of all podcasts ever created. That's not saying a whole lot, but I'm into stats and data and all that, right? So knowing that we are in the top 10% of any podcast ever made, not in viewership, let's probably bottom percentile of that, but episode content, we've made it to episode 20, and this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, hallmarks.
Now, if this episode, do you think it'll get posted before episode 19?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why we're just poking at it.
It's interesting because this is episode 20, but episode 19, like previous episodes, have had some technical snafus. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, yeah. Still learning.
We're getting better. By episode 30, we're going to be a well-oiled machine, baby.
That's the plan.
We're going to be so good at this.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, more of the same.
Episode 3000.
Episode 3000. We're gonna be 3000. We're gonna make it to episode 3000. We're like, hey, what's up, guys? All 34 of you. We've only spent half of our lives on this show, and you 34 that have just stuck to us thick and thin. God damn, we love you.
It's for the family.
At that point, yeah, it's for the family.
It's for the family.
Yeah, for the fam. But no, what was I gonna say? So the snafu for episode 19 was the fact that one of the cameras, it was your camera, was not recording.
So we'll do this 19 with more of a play with memes.
Okay.
And I think it'll be more fun. I'm laughing my ass off as I'm doing it. So.
Okay, so it'd be an interesting format.
Yeah, it's different.
So episode 19 will actually be posted after this one is posted. Much after. But 19 will be there. So this is still episode 20 for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But snafu aside, we made it.
Yeah,
We made it to a benchmark, I think.
definitely.
So that's
A
exciting.
YouTube benchmark.
A YouTube benchmark. How many watch hours do we have? Millions?
Not quite. I don't think so. I don't
Nah.
have that offhand. Do you want to know?
No, we can wait. That's not that big of a deal. But I noticed you're wearing a nice hat.
You too.
Very cool. Where's your hat from?
I don't know. Some guy just gave it to me.
Actually,
some girl in this case.
Oh, really? Some girl? Where'd you meet her?
Just went to go pick him up.
Oh, okay. I was gonna make a.
She picked the place. She picked the spot to get it stitched on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, tell us about these fancy hats that we're wearing.
Well, I mean, it's just Collective 138, as our model is showing us.
Yeah.
And Collective 138 is totally all about cars, coffee, community. It's going to be at the barn.
At the barn.
Where we're going to try to have...
Off of Highway
138.
Clever. I like what you did there.
And just to have a place to gather.
Yeah.
For car shows
Yep.
is initially the intent, and pretty quickly it looks like farmers market is in the play.
Oh, nice.
Potentially some like food vendors.
Nice.
When we have these
Events.
Yeah.
Like
so
food trucks, that kind of thing.
We're shooting for maybe August to have kind of like a soft opening, as they call it.
Yeah.
And then see if we can ramp up to start doing, smaller, to kind of getting a little bit bigger than small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until we can kind of actually host bigger things on a regular basis on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's
for now.
exciting. I am excited to wear this hat around because I really have always liked the logo.
Cool.
It's a pretty bitchin' logo.
Yeah.
So this hat is gonna be on my rotation between my Dodger hat, my Melon hat, and Collective 138 hat.
I'll be curious to know if you get any. What the hell is that?
I'm almost certain someone will say, "Hey, what is that?"
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? That looks pretty cool. What's Collective 138? Well, let me tell you.
There is a website.
Check out the website at www. collective138.com. Was that right?
Yeah. You can't buy the hat though.
No, a hat's not for sale just yet.
Not yet.
But it will be for sale. This is for members only in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Well, it's small batch.
Small batch.
Yeah.
Small batch. We only do small batch here, hand stitched, handmade in the United
Made
States.
in America.
Yeah, so we got my trucker hat here. Got made in America.
Completely made in L.A.
Completely made in L.A.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Who made it?
We did.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You made the hat too?
We got to design it and figure out what we wanted to do with it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Designed in L.A., made in China. Is it one of those?
No.
Oh, designed in L.A., made in
Stitched,
L.A.
Everything. Yeah, here.
Heck yeah, dude. That's always tripped me out when they, like, Apple, the language, like, design in California.
Assembled
in
Detroit.
Assembled in Detroit. But where was it made? Where are the parts
vast
from?
majority.
Well, it's interesting. So I've heard these conversations about, like, the things where they're manufactured. It's I think the desire to have stuff like Apple make your own chips and stuff here in stateside, obviously that's a huge deal because you have a more secure, chain of production. What's the word I'm looking for? The supply chain is what I'm looking for. The supply chain is far more secure if you could do something on your own in your own country. But when you're trying to transition to making like chips here, Taiwan is decades ahead of us in the manufacturing element of the chipsets. So cutting that off would be very detrimental to us and really the world, right? So if there's like a Chinese blockade or something of Taiwan, or a major war, or if TSMC gets destroyed, like it's a pretty big deal. It's a big deal, Jack, as Joe Biden would say. Anyways, but the process to transition to that has to be gradual, because one of the issues that we have is we just don't have the workforce.
Yeah.
You know, you got idiots like me who majored in history, and I have no tangible skills with my hands. No, I mean, there's some things I can do. I would say I'm fairly handy when needed.
Handsy,
yeah. I like the way you smell, Jack. Come on, man. That's not referencing anyone in particular.
You want ice cream?
Give me some ice cream, Jack. I like vanilla when I lay out on the beach in Delaware. I mean, not Delaware. I mean, come on, man. No, but it's just the amount of people, like the specialized skills to actually do those things. We just don't have the capacity yet, right? And so, you got a lot of people majoring in communications and dance or history, when not there's no value in those per se. There's some value, but the direct value of having the technical skills to manufacture and create and produce, sophisticated technology is we're pretty far behind some of the other countries in the world, specifically like Taiwan and increasingly like China, right?
Yeah.
I heard someone make the point recently that you have workers and skilled workers in China who can assemble and manufacture some very complicated things, whereas we just don't have the same capacity as here as we do in the United States. So it's interesting, the whole designed in California, made in China.
Yeah,
it's just a little tangent went on. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
But I'll tell you, man, I know I told you the story, but I'm going to tell it for the pod because I think it was interesting. I recently went to Chicago. Well, I thought I was going to go to Chicago. When you get outside of your bubble a little bit, I wouldn't even say I'm in a bubble, but I have never been to Illinois.
Yeah.
I've never been to Chicago or anything like that. And I have a family member recently graduate from the Naval Academy. Right. Not that Naval, I guess it's Recruit Train Command, the boot camp. Not the the prestigious one, but the grunt one, where the enlisted folks go. Real salt of the earth type. But anyways, so I didn't, when you tell people, hey, I'm going to Chicago, you think of Chicago, you think of deep dish pizza, you think of the city, the skyline, the Sears Tower. Wait, the Sears Tower? No, the Willis Tower, not the Sears Tower. Well, Sears Tower is in New York, right? I think so. Well, the Willis Tower.
I think there's two, right? There's two Sears Towers.
I think they renamed it the Willis Tower.
Oh, okay.
So I think it underwent a rename.
Isn't there also like a Chrysler?
Oh, Chrysler is what I'm thinking.
Right?
In New York
Chicago?
is the Chrysler building, yeah.
Isn't there also one in Chicago?
Probably.
I think I'm curious.
Now, okay, let's look it up. We're going to look it up for our own sake. So the Willis Tower is for sure the one in Chicago. And that's I think the most iconic one. In the skyline.
Yeah, the Willis Tower.
Yeah.
North Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, North Michigan as the main drag.
The residence at the St. Regis, Trump International, 2 Prudential.
Yeah.
NEMA.
Oh, so the Sears Tower, I think, is the Willis Tower's previous name, right?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Sears Tower.
Is a previous. Yeah, so. Well, anyways,
that's 110 story.
That's a pretty big building. It's 110 stories.
And then the next significant one is 100.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so but that's when my sister was like, "Hey, have this graduation in Chicago, or I'm doing training in Chicago, whatever." Like that's what I was kind of picturing.
Yeah.
But that was not it at all. So I didn't realize, you don't realize how far like the airport is from the main center, which kind of makes sense because I mean every airport like LAX is not close to downtown LA, or SFO is not close to downtown San Francisco. It's, it's far. Like I think SFO is more in Millbrae, right? Yeah. So I mean it was the same
South
thing.
San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. But so my point is though is when I get into O'Hare, it's like, oh fuck, I'm actually pretty far from everything. There's really, I mean, I'm not going to say there was nothing to do there because I was short on time, so I really couldn't. I didn't have enough to, actually go explore and do anything. But where I ended up staying was in a city called Waukegan. Yeah, which is nestled about 10-minute walking distance from Lake Michigan, I think it is. Okay. Which is one of the Great Lakes. Yeah. I mean the whole Michigan Lake Michigan west coastline is like Milwaukee, Chicago, and all, and you don't realize like how fucking giant that lake is. Yeah. When you realize, oh shit, there's millions of people that live
around this lake.
It's pretty incredible. But in Waukegan, also nestled just next to the friendly shores of Lake Michigan, it was a very nice town. But again, and it could be just because I didn't have a whole lot of time to do much other than go to this graduation. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot to do. But I will say, it was green AF. It was very pretty. It was a very pretty town. The houses there were all spread apart and kind of far from each other. But they had like ranch-style houses. Some houses had barns. Some houses were nestled on 5 to 20 acres of property. It's like, oh, this is nice. It's really nice.
Do you like tornadoes?
Big fan. Big fan.
I don't know if tornadoes go through there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Windstorms.
Yeah, windstorms. And then I also learned something too. When I thought of Chicago, you think of Chicago deep dish, but you don't think of Midwest thin crust. And I never even knew that was a thing. Yeah. And so I ended up getting pizza one night, and it was this Midwest thin crust cut in like squares. Right. And it kind of had like a similar consistency. It was the same ovens that they cook like New York style pizza. It has a similar crust, but it's just different, served differently. Right. And the place we had it was like a local spot. I can't even think of the name offhand, but it was just people, like there was a guy, a government employee. I don't know. He worked for some local agency, like a public works type thing. And he was just having his lunch there. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then a bunch of families came in. Like you could tell, like this is
family.
Yeah.
Family time.
We're just kind of hanging out and having dinner here. And I was like, man, this is rad. And it had like an old Italian vibe to it. Nice. And the pizza was really good. But I was expecting deep dish, right? So I ended up getting a deep dish when I came back to LA. Yeah. And it was a good pizza, but I don't know if it's authentic deep dish. Who knows? Fuck. But so graduation happens. The graduation, if you haven't been to a military graduation, as I was telling you, very like awesome event. I mean, there's just
you're ready to join.
I was ready to join, dude. I almost put in my application. I went to the recruiter. I said, "Lie to me, baby. Tell me what I want to hear. I want to get a Camaro or a Dodge, one of the two.
Tell me what I got to do for a Hellcat."
Yeah, tell me what I got to do for a Hellcat. What can you mean? I could take out a really expensive loan with my signing bonus, right? And buy a Camaro with a 25% interest rate. Man, that sounds like a dream. But no. So the actual graduation, oh man, what a ceremony! It's a well-oiled machine. Obviously, they have graduations fairly frequently, and so the
episode 30,000.
Yeah, there's 781 recruits graduating, becoming new U.S. sailors, and it was just a really like cool event. Watching all the divisions come in. Doing their marches, hearing the different cadences from the sailors there. They also had the bands, they had a pretty good marching band play, and and then they also had it was like a small orchestra, and they were playing a lot of like classic Americana songs. They played the theme song for the Navy. I didn't know they had fucking theme songs. The theme song, like they did a medley of all of the branch of military's theme songs, you know, from the Coast Guard, Space Force, and then the Big Four, you know, just everything. And man, just what an event. Yeah. And then you see everybody dressed in there, like obviously families are coming to support their new sailors, and you know, a lot of veterans in the audience and a lot of active duty people. And there was one Marine in particular. He was very decorated. He in his service stripes, his little hatch marks on his sleeve. I think he had like 30 years of service or something like that. Career guy, and his ribbons. I mean, he just had ribbons for days. And it was interesting to see him walk around, even though he was not an officer. He's like, you know, like probably the highest level of enlisted, E8 in the Marine Corps. The reverence that people, when he walked by, like even the officers, like they all went to go approach him and talk to him and everything, because I mean, he's fucking decorated. Like, yeah, you gotta have respect. So it was a really nice event. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, I was ready to join. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go to the Air Force or something, or Space Force. Go join the Space Force. I'll join the Marine Corps, man. I'm a little too old for that. But maybe fuck it, do that too. Now, but just really nice event. So after the graduation, we had to drive like 25 minutes just to go to a nearby steakhouse. Pretty good steakhouse. It was a chain restaurant, but very good. Texas Roadhouse. I had never been there before. Okay. And it was actually they cooked the steak exactly how I asked for it. Yeah. And the sides were good. Like overall, like, it was a fantastic experience. You see YouTube videos, like people reviewing food. You know what I hate? One of the things I hate on YouTube, to break off real quick. We're gonna jump on that soapbox. Jump on that soapbox. So you see people doing food reviews all the time, right? And yes. Well, this is what my algorithm was filled with. One of the things. Guy Ferrer. Well, no. So, but no, like you have these guys sitting in their cars, like, "Hey, you guys, I'm here at Wendy's and I'm trying their new Baconator 5, 5 patties, 5 cheeses, 15 pieces of bacon." You know. And then they bite and they're just looking at it, and you just see them like fucking make out with the burger. But they also ordered like 10 different items. You know, they have fucking fries. They got, we got their chicken fries, or we got French fries that are shaped like assholes. You know what I mean? And we're gonna try that. And they eat the French fries. They look it up and everything, and they're like, the sauce is really good. The fry wasn't cooked to perfection. You know, it didn't have that right crisp. You know what I mean? So. But one thing I hate is that they'll review steakhouses in their cars. Huh. It's interesting. So that's an abomination, right? So they get a steak to go, right? And then Ruth Chris. So pinch. Yeah. So I mean, say what you want about Ruth Chris. I've never been, so I can't objectively say like Ruth Chris is good or it's bad. I'm sure it's just like anywhere else. Some nights it's all on the chefs. Yeah, it's all on all who's making it. It's every experience is going to be a little bit different. Yeah. So there's one guy I'm thinking about in particular. He was like, "Hey, I got this steak from Ruth Chris. I got it to go." And he gets this. It's in a plastic container. He takes out this ribeye, or it might have been a fillet, whatever. It was a steak. He cuts it open. "Oh, these motherfuckers! I asked for medium rare. This is well done." Or there's barely any pink. And I was like, "You idiot! You realize you ordered a steak to go, and then it probably was medium rare, but then it continued to fucking cook. So why are you gonna shit on Ruth Chris when you're the dummy who ordered a steak to go? Like, actually sit down and enjoy it. Like, you know, after cooking many steaks, like you have to let your steak rest." You know, you take it out at 120, but then if you put it in a plastic container where it's hot and steam develops, it's going to cook the steak more, dumbass. So seeing some of the proliferation of these types of food critics and people who, you know, all of a sudden, you know, they went from, you know, being unemployed to now, you know, being, you know, professional critics of food. is pretty fascinating. But some of it's interesting. Like some of the commentary is very colorful.
Okay.
And
like who or what?
So there's this one guy, Luke Foods. He's from Kentucky, and he just has an earnestness to him, and I think he's pretty fair. So like he's definitely gonna say good things, and I think what's cool about it too is he's got such a big following now that when he reviews something and it's positive, it's really helpful for the business. But I also think on the transverse, like if you go somewhere that's kind of shitty and he says, yeah, this fucking place sucks, it's probably not good for the business either.
Sure.
But I mean, it's just like the One Bite pizza reviews. At One Bite, everybody knows the rules.
Dave
Portnoy has a lot of people like, oh, I got a fucking 7.8, I got an 8.2, fuck yeah, come to my pizza place. Like there's a weight to it.
Sure.
So I think that part is kind of cool. Like has a potential to be pretty impactful for the small businesses and stuff like that. And there's another guy, he collaborates sometimes with that Luke Foods guy, oh dang, it's Wayne, and he's a Asian guy.
Uncle Roger.
No, oh yeah, not quite that, but now this guy Wayne, though, he's got such a person. I think he's based out of Houston, and he's like, "Hey, everybody!" He's like, "It's got that chickeny juicy essence," and there's just there's an earnestness to it, and it could be totally fake, whatever. It could be a whole ordeal, but you can't help but enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then there's some that kind of are almost parodies. There's one guy, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was like reviewing like, this shit had me rolling. He was like reviewing a ostrich egg, an ostrich leg. So he's sitting in his car. He had made ostrich leg, and he was just eating it in his car. It's like a $300-$400 ostrich leg. And this shit had me fucking dying. You know, and then he was like, hey, Wendy's chili is good with everything. He's dipping like steak in the chili, and it's just so funny. But then there's other reviewers that I just, I don't really care for. But all this to say, Texas Roadhouse, which is sometimes the ire of these folks, was actually pretty decent, and I would definitely eat there again. I don't see why I wouldn't. Have you been to Texas Roadhouse?
I think I went there once. Meh.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best in the world.
It's all right.
Yeah. But the steak I had, I asked for a medium rare New York strip, and
that's what you got.
That's what I got, medium rare New York strip, and the amount of, it was just salt and pepper, and it was a perfect amount. It was good. The sides were pretty decent too.
For me, it's always like I like going to restaurants that the chef quality is like at a level that I can't touch.
Yeah.
Me personally. And Texas Roadhouse is like,
I could do this at home.
Yeah.
Fair. No,
I could do much better at home.
Yeah. We were in Waukegan, you know what I mean? Not to shit on the Waukegan.
Should have got like a smash burger or go to Wisconsin. Just take the drive.
Well, it's funny. We ended up going to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I won't say for the reason why, but we ended up in Kenosha for about an hour. And we went to this, actually it was a grocery store. We went to a grocery store while we were there. And that wasn't the primary reason why we were going.
Yeah.
But this grocery store, man, it was probably one of the biggest like grocery stores I'd ever seen. It was huge. It was just a standard grocery store. I think it was called Woodman's.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a major chain,
I think so.
but it was just a standard American grocery store.
Check.
But this thing was fucking massive. It was like the size of a Costco, but imagine it looking like Rouse. You know what I mean? Is it Woodman's? Yeah. Okay.
There's a few.
Yeah, it was just a massive grocery store too. And another thing that I didn't know, in Illinois they have gambling in like, like slot machines in different places, kind of like Vegas, just
anywhere.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But what was really fascinating is my trip home.
Yeah.
I had a Home Alone moment on my way back to LA. So, as I got to the airport later than anticipated because a wrong turn was made that ended up into a 15-minute delay. So I was supposed to get the airport around 2:15 with half an hour before boarding starts to get through security, get some water, kind of stretch my legs a little bit before I'm on this flight, buy a postcard for my mom because that's what she wanted. Instead, what it turned out is that 15-minute delay almost caused me to miss my flight. So I had already had my ticket. I already had my. Wasn't checking any bags, and I didn't really bring much, just some clothes. So it was pretty easy to get through security. Ideally, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I don't need to check anything. I see the line. It doesn't look too long, but then I realized this line is a part of a greater line with greater purpose.
Thou shalt not pass.
You shall not pass, is what the TSA personnel said as they're slamming people's bags into the ground.
Did you get searched?
No, I didn't.
Get frisked?
I did not. Although on a flight,
Every time I go, I always get fucking frisked.
Because you're probably doing something wrong.
How?
Or you didn't listen to one of the security procedures.
Impossible.
That's not true. It is possible because it happened. Okay, tell me what happened. How do you get frisked?
Every time, just like no matter what.
I say, hey, give me your balls, son. No
He's
bombs
like, no,
here.
he just like they have points.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's back it up a little bit. So when you get frisked, what part of the security process is it at? Are you going through the metal detector and you alarm me? Or are you going through the body scanner?
Both.
Okay.
Both have happened.
Okay. So, okay. What happened?
Well,
the most recent.
On the most recent one, this is Jersey to LA, and immediately before my bag goes through, they're just looking at me, and they're like,
"This guy's suspicious."
Go to the right.
Oh, okay. Well, who's looking at you from what perspective?
Before I even go through the scanner.
So did someone at the metal detector say, "Hey, go to the scanner"?
No, he just sees okay, you're gonna go here and you're gonna enter through the scanner. I go through the scanner.
Get scanned.
Yeah. And he's like, "Come over here."
So okay, let me ask you this. So
no belts. Like I never wear a belt.
What do you have in your pockets?
Nothing. Ever. Never wearing a sweater. I'm wearing the same shirt.
That's true. How many copies of that shirt do you have?
Like 6.
Okay, so your outfit's basically the same as what you're wearing now. Homeless chic.
Except I'm wearing, pants.
Okay.
And
pants.
they're
Is there zippers on the pants? Like in
no,
pockets?
they're just buttons.
Where's the buttons at?
Like the zip
is it like jeans?
Yeah, they're jeans.
Oh, okay. So it's a standard pair
Japanese
of jeans.
denim jeans, bro.
Why do they have to be Japanese?
Because it's high quality shit. I don't wear bullshit. Come on. But every time I get frisked.
Where do they pat you down at?
Everywhere. They want to check everything.
They do the whole thing?
The whole fucking thing.
How many times have you been pat down?
I've even had one where they check under my hair. Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm flying first class. Fuck you. And you're going to do all this bullshit?
I'm wondering.
I'm not wearing a watch. I'm not wearing nothing.
Yeah.
There's no jewelry.
Oh, you got that look to you.
That's bullshit.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's hard to say because I know TSA has random security procedures. Like, so let's say you go through the metal detector, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 types of alarms that you get from a metal detector. They have the standard ring, 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 ring because there's a detection of metal.
Sure.
But there's also, I don't know how they do it per se, but they calibrate the metal detector to have a random alarm. So how many ever passengers go through, there's going to be a random alarm. It's a separate audible tone, and so TSA, what they'll do is they'll have different random alarms or different resolution procedures for each alarm, and they change it up. So it's always a little bit different. So one could be a full pat down, right? One could be they just scan your hands with that explosive detection stuff. And then others are just like a pat down of, maybe a random bag check or something
I've had the radar.
Yeah.
I've had the... But the last on this last trip,
yeah,
he both times,
yeah,
they wanted to do the full.
Did you ask him like, hey, what did you see?
What the fuck?
Why not? I would say that I would say is partially you have to be inquisitive, because if this is happening every single time, like you say it is, which I would say probably not every single time. Is it legit every single time? Okay,
if we're flying into Miami,
yeah.
And my dad's there.
Yeah,
it's the worst. We always get put aside. Everything gets checked. I'm saying an international flight.
Yeah,
not a domestic flight.
Yeah,
always without fail with my dad.
Well, so that's happened to me on an international flight.
But there is a reason why for my dad, at least.
Why?
There is a known mega drug dealer under the same name as him.
Oh, no. There you go. You answered your own question.
But for myself, though, no.
I don't know. I have a question for you.
And there's
when you see your boarding pass,
uh-huh,
is there any unique marker on your boarding pass?
I don't ever print it. It's always on my phone.
Have they ever told you like, hey, you are selectee screening? Has that ever been articulated to you by TSA?
Yeah, maybe like once or twice.
That might be it. Because do you have like pre-check or anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. So
always through clear.
Oh, okay. So TSA, they have it's called selectee screening. So if you'll notice, sometimes, well, maybe not so much anymore because
no carry-ons, no check bag.
Yeah. No, but that's
actually with carry-on. Like,
well, this is what I'm saying though. So if your boarding pass, sometimes in the printed one, there'll be like a marker on your boarding pass that will say, I have 4 S's on it.
Racist.
And the S's indicate that you are a selectee screen. So for whatever reason, I forget the name of the system they have, but when you book your ticket, obviously like DHS has their process, TSA has their process for as part of the vetting and security for the airports. If you are designated selectee screening for whatever reason, whether someone's like on a watch list or maybe someone has a similar name like your dad, then they'll designate you for selectee screening. And so when you go through selectee screening, like there's a lot of shit that they have to do the full pat down. They give you the full ride. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if you are selectee screened and that's why they're doing all this extra security stuff on you without having like an alarm. You know what I mean? I would ask from now on if it happens again, like what the fuck? Because when I was in Germany,
but there's no recourse. That's why I don't ask.
Well, no,
because I've flown into Miami with my dad.
Yeah,
and it has completely screwed our vacation plans because of like a couple times it was like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
but instead we had to wait at the airport because they wanted to check our every single bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. By hearing what you're saying, you're probably on the selectee list, and so I would say contact. I think you should contact TSA and see what the hell's going on. I believe there could be some recourse for you, because I know I've heard of people. Someone I know at work. He had I want to say he's Persian, so his name, a Persian name, right? And so I guess his name was comparable or similar, or the exact same name as someone who was on a watch list. So he was getting selectee screened. So as far as I know, he went through some sort of process with TSA and got that shit squared away. So it might be that what you're saying. That's what it sounds like to me. And so it might be worth at least going through seeing if there is a process for you to like, hey, I'm not like if I have clear and I have pre-check, why am I going through all this bullshit? Like that doesn't make sense to me. That'd be my guess. Because I remember,
all this doesn't count outside of the U.S.
What do you mean?
Like all obviously TSA.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, I've been with a friend when we were going to Dubai, and he's mixed English, and his father is from Egypt, and yeah, they wanted to check everything that he had.
Yeah. Well, so again, it's not like the specific personnel on site, but it's once you see those indicators, like they have to do their process. So it's not like they single you out as an individual.
Sure.
But the system singled you out.
I hope not, Brian.
I would hope.
I hope not.
Fingers crossed.
Otherwise, I'm just flying private.
You should, man. There you go. Fly private.
Big middle finger.
Big middle finger to the TSA. The 1,000.
I don't want to get on this.
I got some TSA acronym. The 1,000 standing around. That's an old one. 1,000 standing around, or the senseless administration. But no. So what was I going to tell you? I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah. So when I went to Germany several years ago, and so on my flight back, I had to get a printed boarding pass. It wouldn't let me get the digital ticket, and so when I got the printed boarding pass, I had those. And this is how I figured like what all this shit is. Yeah, is I had 4 S's, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And so then they told me, oh, you're selectee screened. So when I went through security, they saw that, dude. They made me turn on all my electronics. I had to take off my socks if I remember correctly. But this was in Europe. But
sounds like Miami for me.
I had to go through the metal detector. They took me out of the metal detector, put me through the scanner. Then they gave me a full pat down, and I was like, "Good Lord, what the fuck is this?" And then that's when I heard about the selectee screening. Oh. So I was like, "Oh, I guess that makes sense." I don't know why. I had never happened before, but I'm wondering, like, is it random? I don't know. So the people, when I asked the security people, they're like, "We don't know." So. Just an experience.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it sounds like you experience it every single time. Remind me to never fly with you. If we ever have to go anywhere, I'm going to take the flight.
No, let's test it. We got to test it.
Okay, we'll go once together, and we'll go once after.
And then another one we'll both carry. Just to really test it.
The DHS, FBI, and CIA are watching right now. They're like, got him. We know that you know that we know.
That you know that I know. That we all know.
That we all know. Good luck at the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like next time I fly, I'll probably get the full ride.
Get the Cessna.
Yeah. Well, so actually, I got searched. Not this last time. Actually, no, yeah, not this last time. But the time before that I flew, I left my belt on. And so they were like, "Hey, sir, do you have a belt?" I said, oh, shit, yeah, I have a belt. Go ahead, take it off for me. Oh, okay.
Take off your belt.
And then they're like, hand it to me.
Take off your belt.
And
take off your belt.
There's nothing here.
Slower.
All right,
Slower.
I have to pat you down.
Slower.
They're like, I've got to pat you down. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then
how many times have you been patted down?
Well, so that one time I was telling you, a handful of times, not as much as you, for sure. I think so when they patted me down that time, they were like, because he had an alarm. They showed you the screen. There was an alarm in that groin area, that groin region, because of the belt shows the alarm. So I have to pat you down in your groin area. And I'm going to be using the back of my hands in a sliding motion. I said, do your worst. And so, yeah, I got patted down. And it's, you know how that is. It's uncomfortable, for sure. For sure it's uncomfortable. But it was that part. I accept responsibility because he showed me the alarm where it was at, and it was right in the fucking crotch, and it was my belt. So I didn't forget my belt the next time. But what's so irritating about the airport though, and going through the screening for me is, man, you get behind someone and they're all sorts of fucked up. Like they got all sorts of bags. They have waters in their bag, oversized liquids. And even though this person's probably not going to, doesn't even have the wits to take down the plane, right? It's going to
because that's what we're trying to defend.
Yeah. Yeah. You just know damn well that this person is going to be the one that inconveniences you because, that has to go through the scanner, and then the, TSAs are just like, the guys on X-ray are like, oh, I got water here. Okay. Bag check. And they're just like, then you got to wait for the bags of someone to come get the bag and collect it. And then the passengers, what are you what are you doing to my bag? And it's just like, fuck, these rules have been around since 2002.
Yeah.
You still bring your water. Like, come on, man. Come on, Jack. Anyways, so TSAs, that's
I mean, one other time I was coming back from Europe, and I had a bunch of coins with me, mainly for my mom because she wanted to collect them, and so I told them I have a box full of coins.
Yeah,
it's the bottom of my backpack. It's gonna set the thing off.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Well, see, I blame you. Because, I tell you why. I've seen the X-ray images. And so when there's coins...
Sure, it looks like chaos.
It's so opaque you can't see it. You can't see it through it. So what you could have done differently, and what you can do differently for next time you travel, what you could have done differently is take it out yourself and put it in a separate tray. And that way, instead of having to check your bag, they could have been like, oh yeah, it's coins. I guess he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. I hate it, but that's why when I try to go through security, I do as little as I just generally bring clothes. I just like a charging cord or whatever, maybe a book. But then it's weird. Sometimes you go to different places and they're like, take out your laptops, take off your shoes, your belt, remove everything from your pockets, and you go, oh, okay. And you go to another report. Keep your laptops in your bag. Don't take off your shoes. Yeah. And you're already like halfway taking off everything. No, he said keep your shoes on. We said keep them on. Hey, keep your laptops in your bag. No, take them out. Put it in. And you're like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. I don't know. So I get for someone who, especially if you don't travel often, I get how that could be confusing. And I have some empathy for those folks. Jeez. But anyways, back to my Chicago story, my O'Hare story, this is where all of this stemmed from. So I go through that security line, and I see the security line. And at first, it looked fairly manageable. I'd get there in a few minutes. However, once I turned the corner, I realized I was in danger. The line, God, it was huge. And in TSA fashion, there was only 2 lanes open. So they only had 4 X-ray machines.
What time was the flight?
Flight was at like 3:35. Boarding started at 2:45. I had planned where I have half hour to get through security because that was the last boarding group. Yeah. Right? I was like, fuck it. I'm not first class. I'm last class. I was literally at the back of the plane. But
the safest part of the plane.
Yeah, that's what I heard actually. So I was ready for it. But no.
The long part.
Yeah. Might have to edit that one out. Add a beep or something. We just got demonetized, deplatformed before the platform even took off. Anyways, oh shit. So I'm going through security, and there's only the 2 lanes, and you had to pick what poison you wanted, whether to go this
left
lane
or to the right,
basically, and you can tell like how fast each lane was moving. I realized I probably picked the wrong lane because it was terrible, and then and the other lane moved slightly faster, but
cattle.
So I finally get through. Of course, there's like families with a bunch of kids, which means you got just a bunch of shit all stacked on top of each other, which I know is going to cause bag checks, and sure enough, it did. And I'm waiting for my stuff to get on. I'm getting stressed because my plane started boarding at 2:45. By the time I get out of security, it was 3:05. Now, partially the reason I was late was there was a unintentional detour that was taken that caused a 15-minute delay. To be fair, it was the person who was driving. It was very confusing, and also their first time there. So it wasn't mad or anything. But so I get to the airport, go through security. It's 3:05. I think boarding ends about 3:20 because it's usually like 15 minutes. But my luck, I was thinking, oh fuck, it's probably gonna be 10 minutes. So I look up and I'm at I've kind of text my gate had changed to the C gates, C3 at Terminal 1 O'Hare. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. Like it says C gates, B gates right here. Like it's pretty close.
Just a little arrow.
So I get out of security. So I look around. I'm like, oh, okay, these are the B gates, C gate. Okay, C gates to the left. Make a right. Got it. Okay, I'm not too far. Maybe it's just around the corner. So I walk around the corner only to see a giant window, and I see the sea gates out in the distance, a quarter mile away. And the only way to get there is to go down this fucking giant hallway with 3 or 4 people movers, and there's a shitload of people. I'm like, oh no. So I end up sprinting downstairs. I'm sprinting all the way across this like hallway. I run back up the stairs on the other side, and by the time I get up there, my legs are just on fire. Jello. And so I'm also like huffing because I'm not the thinnest of the bunch. And so I get to the C concourse. I don't have much time, at least I thought, and it says I'm at C3. So I look up. It says 1 through 18 to the left, and then there's the first gate. I'm hoping. I'm like, oh man, maybe that's C1 right here. I look to the left. It's like C18. Like fuck. It's all the way at the end. So I start fucking running down, and I'm dodging people because it's crowded, and I'm starting to get hot and warm and sweaty and everything. And then I finally make it, and I'm huffing. I'm like, tell me I made it on time. And the guy goes, yeah, you made it on time. It was close, right? And then
near miss,
hit or miss, right?
No, near miss.
And so he tells me, he says, why don't you got some time, take a breath, catch your breath. And I'm like, thanks. So I'm catching my breath, and the perspiration is starting to really build up on the top of my forehead here. And I'm wearing a sweater, and I'm hot, and I can feel my armpits starting to soak up. It's like super soakers on a hot July afternoon. And so I finally go in. I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to sit down. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. I didn't get to fill my water can. I didn't get to get the postcard from my mom or anything like that. And I'm just like, I feel defeated, but I made it. I wasn't going to be late, and I was going to sit on the air-conditioned airplane, get comfortable.
Metal tube.
Get on that fuel silage. And sure enough, the plane was off because the pilots were not there. And
they were late too.
They were late too. And God, it was freaking hot on the aircraft. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me right now. And the only thing I can think of is water, Mountain Valley spring water. And it took probably an hour before they did beverage service at that point. And
it's terrible.
And they finally got the AC on, and we took off. But it was just it was a rough experience. But then it all made it worth it because I was like, oh, what better way to visit Chicago O'Hare than in the fashion of Home Alone, running late and running through the airport like a madman.
O'Hare got you.
Huh?
O'Hare got you.
O'Hare got me. So it makes for a better memory, I think, for sure. Because I'll never forget that first time at O'Hare.
Dirty O'Hare.
Dirty O'Hare. Dirty O'Hare. You better wash it because it's dirty. So that was Chicago, though, which I later learned was not really Chicago. I was in Waukegan.
So you never got to see the skyline.
Never got to see the skyline.
You saw the lake.
I didn't even really see the lake.
You knew it existed.
I knew it existed. Actually, but do you really know it's there? Right? Does it
when
exist?
No one else is around?
Does it exist independent of my thoughts? I don't know. Maybe.
I'd like to think it does.
I'd like to think it does, too. You know, sometimes you think about those things. You're like, oh, the simulation is loading. And it loads as you seamlessly as you walk towards the thing. But then you realize, that doesn't make sense. It exists. But no, it was overall, it was it was a quick turnaround. It was more just to hang out and be with family rather than like anything super exciting. And even though for the tourist element, I didn't get to do anything like really, worth, seeing, like sightseeing or anything like that. I didn't get to do any of that. But overall, I thought the trip was really fun. I was happy to see family.
That's always good.
And experience the graduation there. I mean, it's still
ready to recruit.
I already emailed the recruiter for the U.S. Delta Force Army. No, I'm just kidding. Delta Force operators. Fuck this guy. We're gonna go get him now. All the SEALs. But yeah, man. So how was your week? It's a busy week for you, huh? It's Friday at the time of this recording.
This week. This week flew by.
Yeah. It did go by fast.
Yes. Thursday. Well, this week, for the last 3 days, I've been helping a client of mine. He's doing a couple big moves, like literally and figuratively. So, and yeah, just talking to 2 or 3 other clients that I've had in the past.
Yeah.
Like certain things are coming up, certain odd things in the market, certain strange things.
Yeah.
With T-bills and CDs and going defaults and shit like that.
Yeah.
So just dealing with client issues has been most of this week.
You're basically a firefighter, huh? Putting out fires for your clients.
Yeah. Technically.
I see. I mean, figuratively.
Yeah.
Technically and figuratively.
Yeah. Ideally, I should know where the fire starts before it happens, though. So.
Yeah. Fire investigator.
Beforehand.
Yeah. The thought police. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I did, though.
What'd you do?
I was telling you off camera a little bit, but I told you I was not going to tell you the full story. I went to the circus.
The Russian circus?
No, the Mexican circus.
Oh, okay.
But there was a Russian girl there, or Eastern European girl. Circus Caballero.
Okay. Where is this?
It's Redondo Beach near the mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not too far from this location. But so it was just sort of like a random thing. My wife and I were like, she was like, hey, I'm gonna do this random thing. I was okay, wherever you want to go. So we go. I had no idea we were going to the circus, and so we get closer, and it dawned on me. Like I was like, damn. Everywhere she's telling me to go, there's only one thing I can think of. And I hadn't seen it. I didn't know it was there. But I was like, the only thing I think of is the circus. So I guessed. I was like, we're going to the circus? And she's like, you're too good at this guessing game. No, I'm terrible at it, actually. So we go to the circus. And what an experience. Man, I really fucking enjoyed that. Almost like the graduation. Now I want to join up.
You ready to do cartwheels?
Do cartwheels, do some trapeze.
Somersaults.
I'll be the I'll be one of the attractions.
The ringleader.
No, I couldn't be the ringleader. You know,
Why not?
I'm not really a ringleader type. I'm more the obtuse type. You know what I mean? Rounded.
You could do it. I have faith in you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the circus.
You can do it.
What? Yeah, well, maybe I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of an attraction myself.
Yep, there it is.
No, but here goes the thing. They didn't play that song. That was the only thing that I was disappointed.
Oh.
I was like, isn't that like the quintessential circus song?
Technically.
I guess not.
What'd they play?
Well, they had like a lot of different. Okay, so I'll tell you what I really loved about it. They had a pretty broad array of, because obviously, you know, animals are not in circuses anymore. It's just not a thing.
They're not?
No.
I'm kidding.
No, okay. Well, I thought you were being serious, you facetious dickhead. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah. So they didn't have any animals in the circus. They did have a elephant that you could take pictures with mid-show, but it was plastic. So you know, and it was about as tall as, you know, about 3'5" or something. It was, you know, just something you could pose with, right?
Sad.
But what I really liked about it is, you know, once the attraction started, it was just like boom, 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 boom. There was no delay, and it was such a well-oiled machine because they've been doing this show for a long time. But in between each segment, if they needed to set up something like the trapeze, or they have this thing, the wheel of death, or the ball of death.
The wheel of death.
The ball of death, where they went in on motorcycles or dirt bikes.
Oh, okay.
And there were 3 are going in this small dome. I feel like I've seen that before, but it's still like, that was impressive. But as they're setting up these attractions, the clown goes around, and holy shit, he was actually pretty damn funny. I was cracking up. Like, this is such a throwback and to a different time in American history. And I can imagine like what the circuses would have been like the good parts of the circus back in the 19th century.
With the animals?
Well, you know, minus the abuse, right? You know, I feel bad for Dumbo. He, you know, he's just fucking around with, I got this big Dumbo with giant ears. Like, yeah, I don't want him to be abused or anything, you know? It sucks. You know, humans, like, the circus is pretty awesome. Yeah. The circus is pretty awesome, but, and, you know, I can imagine having these animals here, but humans, we do such things in very gross ways, right? You know, we, you know, torture the elephant. I saw a picture recently of an elephant being hung.
Damn.
Like, gross stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like how we have the capacity to make all these really great things and great events and experiences for one another, but sometimes it's interesting to see what it comes at a cost of.
Sure. And
seeing a fucking elephant hung back in the 1800s, like, god damn, like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Where do you even think of that? Especially knowing like elephants are like rad animals and they're really intelligent and their memories are, you know, they can remember something from their infancy to, you know, as adult elephants. Like, that's pretty fucking rad. But so this circus didn't have it, but they had some really cool juggling acts. Music.
Chainsaws?
No chainsaws.
Damn.
No chainsaws. Music. The trapeze.
Sword
comedy.
swallowing?
No sword swallowing.
Damn.
No sword swallowing. But so the trapeze though.
Apple over the head with an arrow.
Kind of.
Kind of. So there were arrows being shot?
Invisible ones. Well, the clown, he got a makeshift balloon, and he was, you know, boom. But, you know, he was pantomiming it, and it was pretty good. It was entertaining. But the acts that they did have, they were all, like, just really fun to watch and very professional. And it was interesting to see all the guys, everyone in the show were, like, multi-talented, and all multi-talented and very good at everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, the main clown, he was a fucking killer trumpet player. like just destroyed the trumpet. I'm like, holy smokes, he played very well. And one of the main, so the Flying Caballeros, the family, the Caballero family, they well, I don't know if that's their last name or not, but that's what they call themselves, the Flying Caballeros. So it's the three brothers, and they do everything, right? They rode the motorcycles. They were doing the trapeze and the high, dangerous jumps. They were singing saxophone.
Yeah.
Just like the amount of talent. Holy shit. And then you realize, too, I guess this year, they took their show all the way to Monte Carlo for Cirque du Festival in Monte Carlo, and they won like a big award for a big circus festival.
Nice.
And I'm like, holy shit. And so all the trapeze players were, the females were, I think most of them were from Mexico, from Jalisco. But there was one, she was, I think her name was Ivana Manushka or something like that. And she clearly wasn't Hispanic. She looked to be Eastern European.
Yeah.
And she had really great form on the trapeze. But so did the guys, the main three brothers. They were fucking good.
Yeah.
It was a good show, man. I really enjoyed the circus.
That's cool.
And I look forward to going to the circus in the future now.
Really?
Yeah, I told my wife, I said, every season when they come back, we'll go. I mean, even if it's the same and slightly different, I think I'd still enjoy it. But even if it's the same, I think I'd probably still enjoy it because I had a good time. They played a song. It was the Star Wars Cantina song. But it was like a metal version. Yeah. And so it was a juggler, and he was juggling to that song. It was a lot of fun. I might give it all up to be a carny now.
Wow.
Or not carny, right? Carny's for the carnival.
I think so.
What do they call it? Circus freaks?
Yeah.
Freak shows?
Freak shows. That's a special crowd.
Well, another thing, it reminded me, do you remember P.T. Barnum?
Sure.
So that guy's life is just, the shit he did is pretty incredible. A lot of people just know him for the circus. But then when you dig into like everything, you're like, oh my God, this guy's, you love him and you hate him. Like he did some pretty scandalous shit, but then he's also done a lot of cool shit. And I can imagine living in that time, like in the late 19th century, be like so pumped for P.T. Barnum. Like, man, that'd be fun. The Fiji Mermaid, General Tom Thumb.
Jeez. Like,
oh man, so many different things. I would have loved to see his American Museum in New York. It burned down though. He had a big hall where they'd have like talks and chats and stuff, and presentations. But then the exhibits he had from all over the world, it would have been really cool to see. But what's interesting, funny P.T. Barnum story. General Tom Thumb. You familiar?
A little.
Hey, don't be offensive now. No. Well, Tom Thumb was an international attraction, man. P.T. Barnum actually toured with General Tom Thumb all over the planet. Well, the Western world. I don't know if he took it. I don't know if he took it all over the planet, but I met Queen Victoria. Okay. And there was he was staying in London for a long time, and got to see Queen Victoria, and she got to see Tom Thumb, and was very impressed by the attraction and by P.T. Barnum. It's crazy now. It's like that seems like such a odd thing now. Like I can't imagine the royals be like, "Oh, I'm going to see Circus Caballero.
Let's do it!"
Yeah, this is the best thing ever. Now they're all posh and they're like, we're too good for that shit. But interesting, P.T. Barnum, man. We got to dig into him a little bit. I really like that. I read a couple books about him. Right? He's an interesting character,
for sure.
And it's interesting to see like how some of the modern marketing is all stemmed from like how he marketed his attractions.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of the biggest impacts, I think.
Do you know who needs some of that marketing genius?
The Below the Trees podcast. Collective 138.
The Colorado Rockies.
Oh, boy. Oh, what a segue. Let's get into it. Welcome to this segment of Rocky Talk. So, okay, the episode we previously recorded because of technical difficulties has yet to be released. But we talked about just to...
That's so true.
Yeah. This was like 2 weeks ago. Maybe 2.5 weeks ago we did the episode. And so at the time, Rockies had, I think, 9 wins and some odd losses. I don't remember exactly how many losses, but they had 9 wins. Yeah, they weren't quite at 10 wins yet. So at the time of today's recording, the Rockies have won 12 games, 3 games in like the 2 weeks that we were off.
Yeah.
And have 50 losses total. So, John, talk to us. What's going on in Colorado? And is Chris Bryant happy he signed there?
I didn't investigate too much into Chris Bryant, but more than likely he not. Everyone's pissed with Dick.
Yeah.
Dick being Dick Monfort, the owner. And so the buck stops with Dick.
Yeah.
And he's a big ass.
Yeah.
And so
he's a big ass and a big dick.
That's Monfort.
That's Monfort. Oh man. So they're all the whole organization is pissed at him.
Because you have to you can go from the players, right?
Yeah. You
can take that approach. And 100% it's not working.
Yeah. Something is definitely not right.
But
this might be would you say this might be the worst major league team ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's because of Dick. And it's because of the people that he hired. It's because of his mismanagement of the team. But it's also he has the strangest approach. Like you can email him. And if he finds it worthy, he'll reply back to you.
Oh, just like normal us?
Yes.
Interesting.
So fans email him regularly, telling him what he needs to do with the team. And so some people, he's told other people, well, if you don't like what we're selling, then don't show up to the game.
And have people taken that literally?
No, and so instead they actually just get upset.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they'll show up even more,
and protest.
Yeah. So the problem starts at the top.
Yeah.
With the owner. And really, I think it's like the best season they had was like 06, 07-ish.
Yeah, and that was with, was it Bud Black?
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't have like an amazing standout squad. They just...
Yeah.
They were doing really well.
Well, they had some decent players.
Always.
DJ LeMahieu, Troy Tulowitzki, Nolan Arenado.
Always.
Yeah.
But, okay, the biggest problem with Colorado is the elevation.
Yeah.
And that is an inescapable fucking void.
Yeah.
That just plagues the team. That's
'Cause
5,200 some odd feet.
Something like that.
Right? Ball doesn't break. Ball carries.
Yeah.
Big
that's why Colorado pitchers regularly in the 4s and 5s in ERA.
So that's a huge problem to start with. And then if you take those players and you put them out and they do well in Colorado and you put them out into away fields, few shine.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate
reality.
Truth.
Yeah.
Right?
They have that ballpark advantage.
Disadvantage.
Well, no. I guess you could say disadvantage. But when they're at home, it feels like an advantage, but it's truly a disadvantage.
Correct.
Yeah, because
in the long run, to win a championship, you need pitching.
Yeah.
And you can't win a game just off of having slugger after slugger after slugger after slugger, unless they slug.
I mean, they slug.
Dick. You got to put some money up. But that's the problem. He doesn't want to put up the money.
Yeah.
And we saw that in its biggest form with Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Where the general manager is the one who came up with the idea of putting in the clause of saying, if we get rid of you, we don't have to pay you.
Yeah.
And Arenado accepted the deal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
For the Rockies.
And for that trade, though, the Rockies got nothing.
Yeah.
I think the best out of it, it's like 6 players, I think they got, 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them is still playing. And he's maybe batting like 180. So not a good turnout.
Yeah.
For what they got, what they paid. Plus, I think St. Louis also paid like an extra $50 million on top of it to get this deal. But start of the season, their star pitcher, unfortunate. But that's not going to change this whole thing because the elevation is the issue. And Manafort running it, he has to figure out how to do this. He's got to change this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he wants to change locations. So that's the problem with Colorado. And this year we're seeing it all come to a absolute head.
Yeah.
Where the team is completely dead. There's no development.
Yeah.
Because he's not putting in the money to do it, to buy it, to garnish the talent. Not happening. Their pitching, no matter what they do, is going to be struck with elevation issues.
And you're probably also not, it's not like you're getting the top caliber pitchers anyways.
Even if you did.
Yeah.
Even if you did.
Yeah.
The elevation is going to...
No, for sure. I think the pitcher's numbers, even if you have an elite pitcher, is going to be higher than it would be in
anywhere else.
However, if you have an elite pitcher who can pitch well on the road and then just good enough for Colorado standards and for that ballpark, I mean, that's still going to make you a lot more competitive because the other pitchers that visit are going to have the same problem that your home pitchers do.
Sure.
So I would at least make them competitive. But
now you're talking Guggenheim money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Colorado doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He's not willing to spend that.
Interesting.
So that's the real issue.
Yeah.
With Colorado.
Well, really, they just have to invest back into the team.
A lot of money. It seems it seems like.
But what's the logic then of owning the team? So
great question.
So if you're just strictly in it to turn a profit, if you're not investing that much into it, but you're okay with what comes in at the end, profit wise, and you have really no incentive to invest more. It's like, well, look, I'm paying bottom dollar right now, and I'm still making a pretty good amount of money for at least based on the amount of investment I'm putting in. Yeah. Right? Is that kind of the logic?
It could be, but the part of the problem is like what he has put forward isn't getting the return.
No, well, return on the field, but I'm talking about return like of putting butts in the seats and people coming in and out, and he's making just enough profit.
I don't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm speculating.
Sure.
Yeah,
but given the market size, yeah, I mean, we'd have to look at the attendance to get a sense. Do we ask ChatGPT?
Let's ask it.
We'll ask ChatGPT.
I'll ask Google Gemini. All right, here we go. It's answering. So at the current date, the Colorado Rockies have had a total home attendance of 745,780 for the 2025 season. Interestingly enough, the second question I asked is, where does it rank in baseball? And the Gemini give the National League. This actually ranks 12th out of the 15th National League teams for total attendance.
Okay.
So it's not even the worst.
Yeah.
Probably the Marlins, I would guess, are the worst.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who has the worst attendance in baseball?
So in 2024, the Rockies reported revenue of $318 million, but incurred an operating loss of $22 million.
Oh, wow.
So the team's payroll stands at $124 million.
Still seems like a pretty
So what's
high.
up with the attendance, though?
So the lowest attendance in baseball belongs to the Rays and the A's.
Okay, well, the A's are struck to a small field, too.
Yeah.
But they statistically have been having, really low number of attendances for a while.
You could probably get seats in front of the home plate.
Oh, yeah.
For pretty inexpensive.
$150 maybe.
It's kind of a lot. I'm just kidding. Let's see. I'm gonna ask if it can list the rank of MLB attendance.
Okay, let's come up with a solution, though.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna tell you the ranks.
Go for it.
So far, this is not total attendance, but total average attendance. So the Dodgers are number one in baseball with a total average attendance of 50,000, 275 per game. Number two, San Diego. I won't list the numbers. 3 is Philly. 4 the Yankees. 5 the Mets. 6 the Braves. 7 Chicago Cubs. 8 is the Giants. 9 is the Angels, and 10 is the Red Sox. So I'm going to do the bottom 10 now. The Reds rank 20th. Orioles, 21. Guardians, 22. Kansas City Royals, 23. Minnesota Twins, 24. Pittsburgh Pirates, 26. Miami Marlins, 27. A's and Rays at the bottom. Oh, but it says here, Rockies' average attendance is 26,000 a game. Who knows?
It's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're pretty close to operating at a profit.
Yeah.
They're not very far.
Negative $22 million, though, bro?
I mean, it's a lot, but, I mean, when you're in the hundreds of, when your income's in the hundreds of millions, it's not as, I mean, it seems like it's not as big of a deal.
So I'm asking Grook 3. Grok 3?
Grok?
Grok 3?
Mm-hmm.
Grook. Grok 3. The 2025 Colorado Rockies are the worst team in baseball. How much money in pitching, hitting, defense, and player development do they need to spend to become the next best team in the next 10 years?
What is it, $1 billion?
I'm using deep search.
Oh, deep search, okay.
So it's still going through it.
Still thinking.
What
is the answer? This is an impossible problem. I'm sorry. Try again later.
Sell to Elon.
Oh, man.
We're a minute deep in deep search.
He's like, fuck. God damn. They can't ask me about molecular science and physics?
It just finished assessing the Rockies' needs.
Is it still thinking, though?
Now it's estimating. Yeah, of course. Dude, I've asked it pitching, hitting, defense, player development.
So total.
So it's doing estimated pitching costs. The hitter salaries are quick because they're like hookers.
Oh.
That's what a coach told me. Evaluating spending strategy, finalizing investment figures. We're a minute and 50 deep.
Holy shit.
Calculating completed.
Completed. Here we go.
It seems likely that the Rockies need significant investment to become a top team in 10 years. Given
in 10 years, not even.
That was my. That was,
oh, okay.
Remember that was.
I thought it was next year. I misheard you.
No, that's wild. Research suggests an additional annual investment of around $100 million.
So they're okay, and that's total for everything. Okay.
Split between pitching, hitting, and player development.
God, that's a lot of money.
$61 million on pitching. $62 million on hitting. $20 million on player development.
Oh my God! Annually.
Approximately $96.4 million. This allows for gradual increases over 10 years.
Interesting. You know what we should do for the pod? We should put that in a document and email it to Dick Monfort. And we'll just I think we should do that if he allows emails.
So, I mean, it says it. I mean, the Rockies owners, the Monfort brothers, must be willing to increase spending given their current 20th ranked payroll. Market size and revenue streams may constrain. I'm just summarizing now.
Yeah.
The plan includes 1 to 3 heavy investment in player development, $40 million annually, and minor free agent signings. In years 4 through 7, increase the payroll to $180 million, signing key players to address the gaps. 8 through 10, maintain the homegrown talent and sustain a $200 million salary.
$200 million in today's game, especially now you think $200 million in the game 10 years, that doesn't seem totally unreasonable.
So the time is now, Dick. Grab your balls.
Grab your balls, Dick.
And drop $100 million.
Lay it on the table. But here's the thing. I think I've always liked. And
move the stadium.
Huh?
And move the stadium.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's a. But I like the appearance of the Rockies. I thought they have cool uniforms.
Oh no, the trees and you're up in the air. You're at the highest stadium.
And they've had some great players like Troy Helton, right?
Yeah.
Or Todd Helton.
Todd Helton.
Troy
Tulowitzki.
I mean, it sucks for Tulowitzki. That could have been a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
He was just always injured.
Yeah.
But what a player to watch. He was even good in Toronto.
Oh yeah, Arenado.
Yeah. So it's just sad to see you got
the beard.
Yeah.
Blackman.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot about him.
Interesting.
Trevor Story.
But interesting one on Blackman. If you
Charlie
look,
Blackman.
Blackman.
Yeah.
If you take his away batting average,
yeah,
it's like 280.
Yeah.
Still a good hitter.
Yeah.
Right? But at home, he's like
350.
Yeah, it's like 360 something, 380 something ridiculous. Like
I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, man.
So, if you could find just 7 more of those guys and a couple, just those 3 or 4 home run hitters.
Yeah.
You have a solid team on your hands.
That's what it sounds like.
If they can do that. And that'll cost you $100 million a year for the next 10 years if you want to become competitive.
I wholly believe you have to put this in a document and send it to the Dick Monfort.
You're funny.
Why not? What I think we'll track it on the pod to see if he ever emailed us back. I think if he.
Do you want to email him?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
Let's email him. Synthesize all that. Or you can just copy and paste that shit and then just send it to him and say, "Hey Dick, I ran the numbers." Hey Dick, how's your day going, buddy? Hope everything's well
at the ball field.
Yeah. Are the grounds still kept? Hey, Dick. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's good.
The buck stops here.
I ran these calculations on Gronk 3 deep search. It took a minute and 51 seconds. So quite a bit. You know what I mean? Would you be able to just take a gander at this and see what you think? And let me know if you have any questions. But this should really solve our problems in the next 10 years. Oh, man. Dude, man, I wonder how many home runs Aaron Judge would have. If he were full time at the Rockies.
89.
Coors Field. Good Lord.
Just at home. Because the pitches don't break.
Yeah. So 89 plus 30 from everywhere else.
Another 30. Yeah, another 30 is a solid year. So
yeah. So he's 120 home runs for the year.
Video game.
Oh man, that'd be interesting.
That's the sell.
Yeah.
You want to put up video game numbers, bro? You gotta come to Colorado.
Chris Bryan, he's batting well, isn't
he? You just can't talk to pitchers that way.
Yeah. Hey.
This is the biggest challenge of your career.
Yeah. If you do well here, you do great.
You will kill everywhere.
And by well, we're just talking low 4s, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Just keep it in the ballpark a couple times.
Yeah, that's the sell. Like, that's the incentive. If you, like, I'm the real business here.
Yeah.
If your ERA dips below 4, right? Yeah. We're not going to give you this extra $15 million. So you got to maintain a below 4 ERA. This is the biggest challenge here. But this is the biggest part of your bonus, if you're willing to take it. Otherwise, find another team.
Yeah.
Straight up. Because then you want to find those guys who would be willing to do it.
Yeah.
And probably the best one would be a Bauer.
Yeah.
Because he's dealt with that issue of elevation when he was pitching in Mexico.
That's a good point. And he pitched pretty well. I think he won the
He did
pitcher
very well. So
he's pitching well in Japan too.
And so he's taking these challenges, right? In that sense. Because that was the allure of Mexico.
Yeah. But does a guy like Trevor Bauer ever sign in the league again? It's hard for me to see that happening. As much, like, I think the whole case has been adjudicated. Right?
Sure.
He served his time for the MLB players, their policies and stuff like that. And then he was never convicted of a crime. And, a lot of people say, well, he wasn't convicted. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's like, no, there was material evidence that a lot of this shit was not true.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, you can't just take the woman's word for it that accused him, even though some of what she said ended up being lies and and just falsehoods. Like, I don't think that means we should blackball this guy for the rest of his career.
Yeah. And
you see him, he's still a major league pitcher.
Yeah.
And I mean, he pitches well in Japan, pitched well in Mexico, and
now he's in Eastern Europe.
I know I think he's still pitching for Japan, the DNA All Stars.
I think he was gonna plan on going to Eastern Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Next.
Well, his manager, his agent rather. I mean, she's just getting him all the work that he can get. I mean, but truthfully, he's probably got the biggest platform, one of the biggest platforms of any MLB star.
Sure.
I mean, former MLB star, right? I think he has almost 1 million followers on YouTube. There's not a lot of players with that kind of pull.
His education is amazing. Like,
yeah.
When I'm coaching the kids in high school, like, that's who I'm telling them, watch this. Because he's going to give you a class on physics.
Yeah.
Little bit of engineering.
It's a good point. I've always liked that part of his content.
Yeah.
His baseball content is just so good.
Yeah. There's like, you have to get into the elite level of coaching.
Yeah.
To find that kind of explanation.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, that's usually stuff that's been guarded is really the thing that Trevor's opening up.
Yeah.
So he's He's opening it up. Many coaches who have since retired, right?
Yeah.
Do that, but do that privately.
Mm.
But Trevor literally has like hours of content where he's just like, send me your mechanics and I'm going to go over this kid's mechanics and tell everything that's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Kids in the league, A through AAA.
Yeah.
Even major leaguers.
Yeah.
Or he's just going through their mechanics, talking about it.
Yeah.
There's few baseball channels that do that intense depth.
Yeah.
I think he does it best.
I think he really mastered YouTube because
for sure.
Because you look at how his content is, right? Like his baseball content is just, again, talking about the mechanics, the training element of it. It's so good. Even for me as a non-player and watching, like, I've gotten value from that. I've been able to take with me and implement in some way. Not that I'm any good, but and then he's also got some really entertaining shit, like when him and Eric Sims, and they're just fucking around and doing shit. Like it's fun to watch. Or hey, I like when he, MLB pitcher strikes out, softball player or against a softball player, pro elite softball player, and I'm like, that's good content. It's just damn good. It's entertaining. So I think in the end, he's the one who kind of won, because he has all the freedom in the world to do whatever he wants, but
he still wants to pitch. He still wants to compete.
Yeah.
Like if you hear stories about him as a little kid, like he was the kid that would show up to school in his baseball uniform, like. So
he's a fucking nerd.
Yeah,
no, just kidding. Obviously.
Yeah, no, he is. Like he admits it. Like I love baseball. Like
yeah. I hope he gets back in the league before he's retirement age.
Yeah.
Just
whoever picks him up, if they have the balls, Dick, I'm talking to you.
Hey, dude. In the email to Dick Monfort, just put, hey, by the way, maybe sign Trevor Bauer. I think he'll take league minimum. Which I think, he's publicly said he would.
He'll take $1.
He'll probably take
plus league minimum.
Yeah. Just so I don't make league minimum.
Right?
A little bit more. But, well, John, it's that time. We got to start wrapping up. But what have you learned today?
Fly private.
Actually, this conversation took very interesting turns, and I think it was a lot of fun.
Just like your trip to O'Hare.
Just like the trip to O'Hare. I went left and right, then left again. Many turns, huffing and puffing all the way through. No, 100%. It was a fun experience in Chicago, or Chicago O'Hare and Waukegan. Waukegan. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Although again. I'm a little upset. Yeah. I'm a little upset because I take my Airbnb profile very seriously.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, very seriously. In the sense that I
have you reviewed the cabin?
No, I've never officially stayed there.
Oh,
on Airbnb.
You need to give me a review.
I'll give you a review.
Yeah.
I have to stay there though.
That's fine. I know how that works.
Okay. We'll wait, but you need to give me a review too, and that's what I mean. I take it seriously because I want my reviews to reflect that
stunning character.
I'm a stunning tenant. Like, hey, if you accept my reservation, man,
expect the unexpected.
Expect that your property is going to be well taken care of and treated with respect.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because I have okay, so you know this then. You probably know this more than I do. So when someone makes a reservation as an owner and you see that reservation, you have to go in and physically approve it, right?
Sure.
Is there like an automatic where it's automatically approved? Can you do that?
Yes.
But you can also I
can screen.
Oh, you can screen it.
So it's usually the ones that get screened are bigger requests.
Oh, like for multiple days?
Yeah, so I have it so that you can instant book, which is what you're asking. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to ask me anything, and you just book it. You book it for the night. You book it for like 2 nights. That's fine. But now, all of a sudden you're saying I want to stay there for like 6 months. I want to stay there for a week. Yeah. I'm saying 6 months because somebody asked me 6 months, and I was like,
No?
Maybe.
Oh, is that something you're working out right now? Or did you adjudicate?
It's fraud.
Oh, okay.
It ended up being fraud.
That makes sense.
But if somebody does ask, like, I want to be there for 5 days, yeah. And they'll actually send in a message, like, or a question, because that's why they don't instant book it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a question. And so that's where you can screen.
Yeah.
So it's up to, you, the owner, if you want to have the instant book where it's just, you'll get randos.
Well, so I know because I've been on Airbnb like 8 years or something.
Yeah.
When earlier in the first couple of years doing it, it seemed like everywhere they always screen, like, oh, they have to confirm reservation. It was always a delay between time of me requesting the book, and then now everything's instant book.
Sure.
So
because there's definitely more trust.
Yeah.
Because it's been around for a lot longer. It's like 12.
Yeah, it's been around
13
a while.
years, something like that.
I mean, I think I've been on it, like I said, 8 years, so it's been a while. But like I in the early days, like I mean, not so much anymore. It's not a big deal because I think I have like 23 reviews, even though this Waukegan lady, she hasn't given me my review yet. Jeez.
Yeah, I just had a guest who hasn't left me a review either.
Yeah, and so, but she asked for a review. I'm like, well,
of course.
Why are you going to ask for a review and not review me? But then, if I'm not mistaken, like
it won't. She won't get the review unless both of you.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully she gets me a review because I used to think, oh, hey, they see my profiles. I had no brainer. We're gonna let this guy book.
Yeah.
But
have you ever been denied?
No, not once. Okay. But I take the reviews serious. And one of the main reasons now I stay on Airbnb and use that, because sometimes it's not the cheapest option.
Yeah.
But I feel like you do get a little bit more bang for your buck. The amenities are generally better than a hotel. But
depends.
Yeah, no, for sure. But for me, like I like having, I like having the touch of a regular home. Sometimes when you're away, it makes it a little bit of a seamless experience. Sometimes. But part of me, why now, is like, oh, dude, it shows you the stats.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 25 trips.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm quite a bit of an Airbnb veteran over here.
I deserve a badge.
I deserve some. Oh, they gave me stamps for how many places I've been. I'm like, it's whatever marketing plan that they were trying to do, they won me over. That's for sure. So, yeah, I like Airbnb. But generally, it's always been cheaper than the hotels. There have been instances where it's probably cheaper to go to the hotel. Like Waukegan might have actually been cheaper at the hotel, but not by much. And I was actually closer to where I wanted to be.
What, Motel 4?
Motel 2, actually. But on that note, John, always good talking to you.
Always.
It's going to be a fun episode.
Yeah.
So I'm going to close it out.
Do it. $100 million.
Welcome. Well, no, this is the outro, not the intro. Thank you for watching the Below the Trees podcast. We appreciate you tuning in for this very insightful and fun conversation. It is a little lighter than we normally do. Normally we get into something deep and philosophical, and today we just had fun. Not to say we don't have fun on the other times, but we just talking light and airy and TSA, touching your balls and stuff, and Dick Monfort, as in not a real dick. Come on. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyways, we will see you next time. This is the Below the Trees podcast. Do all the normal YouTube things, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And the intro. Hello, welcome to the Below the Trees podcast. We got a great episode for you today. I mean, we're talking TSA, Chicago O'Hare, and world famous Rocky talk. Maybe not world famous. Okay, let me restart. Hey, welcome to the Below the Trees podcast. We got a good episode for you today. We get into traveling and the ins and outs of the TSA, and we find out why John gets patted down every single time he goes to the airport. John, are you excited? He's not. And we also talk about the Colorado Rockies and our intent to dissect their problems and what will it cost? How much does it cost to make this a competitive team in the next year? If you really want to know the answer to these big questions, stay tuned. This is Below the Trees podcast. Grab some popcorn, grab some food, and we'll see you at the end. Below the Trees podcast. That's it. Oh boy. Kaiba boy.